A total commitment in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Over and over again, we come back to breathing, right? Keep searching. The fingers would be searching too, trying to touch something familiar. Yeah. Right. Is it all right? I still don't get the excitement in the hand of, oh, I remember this rock.
Breathing is the springboard of all movement. Our deeper breath, let it lift you and lift you and lift you, and let the breath out.
And again, lifting, 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 and letting the breath out. And we can lift the torso right up into a sitting position. Up you come, in with the breath. In with the breath, in with the breath, and let it out. Contraction. Now let's see it applied in the standing position. Now Jim is in a contraction, right? Now he's going to take a deep breath, and that will bring him right up into an expansion. And in with the breath. Now this moment of pause, this moment of silence, is the breath pause. That is the dramatic moment.
Move as the creek moves to its hidden pool. The sun has eyes of fire. Be my white waterfall. Lie on my eyes like hands. Let no sun shine. O twilight bell, flower of the Wonga vine.
And let the breath out. Now, the breath pause, now let's get to it perhaps musically. Having known England, which plods on its waltz, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all ordered and absolutely meticulous, right? Now, when we come to the continent, I suppose it's because of the Mediterranean joie de vivre or something, but they have added the breath so that you get your contraction, expansion, breath pause. Contraction, expansion, breath pause. And that gives it the beautiful dynamics, variety, drama. Now, the study of complete relaxation. The only way I know how to get you into that is by putting you first into a complete tension. So, lift your arms above your heads, put the feet into our oriental position. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to almost tear your body apart. So you wiggle up away from the diaphragm with the torso and wiggle down with the hips into the feet. Right. Off you go. Stretch, pull, and stretch, 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 and let go. Let the breath out. Now, there'll be irons pinning you on your ankles and wrists. Then there will be a fire underneath you. You're being tortured, burnt. Pain can produce the most horrific tensions in the body. Right? Now put yourselves, get your imaginations working, and into the picture. And the faces too, everything. In other words, the body is screaming, and yet there is no vocal sound. Let go. Good. Good. Right.
Walking up the driftwood beach at day's end, I saw it, thrust up out of the hillock of sand, a frail bleached clench of fingers dried by wind, the dead child's hand. And they are mourning there still, though I forget the year of the flood, the scarred, ruined land, the herds gone down the current, the farms drowned, and the child never found. When I was there, the thick, hurling waters had gone back to the river. The farms were almost drained. Vanished, half-dead cattle searched the dunes. It rained. River and sea met with a wild sound. Oh, with a wild sound, water flung into air where sea met river. All of the country round, no heart was quiet. I walked on the driftwood sand and saw the pale crab crouched and came to a stand thinking, a child's hand. The child's hand.
Right. Now the circular movement. Feel gravity. Absolutely unconscious. Unconscious. Round we go. The biggest circle that I can get out of your neck, you've got to touch my thigh. That's it. Lovely. Right. Now, testing the arm just above the elbow. Good. Right, now to the head. Forward and back. Touch my thigh. Come on. Forward and back. Forward. Touch my thigh. Touch my thigh. All right. Okay. Give yourself a nice broad base. Get the weight of the body, torso into my arms, bend your knees. And I want you to clasp your hands. And they are not Deirdre to part. I'm going to part them. Right. Now, you comfortable with me? Mm-hmm. Right. Now, I'm going to set you into a sway. Right. And let go. It. Do you see? Mm-hmm.
Movement and improvisation are two separate areas. Movement has its own style. Now, when we come to the improvisation, that is much more realism. I don't expect them to do it with dance movement. You ready, Jim?
Yes.
The way I start is throwing the person just into space. They've got to rely on only themselves and their imagination to create and communicate a particular world, a particular idea in their own way. I find craft is the first thing. This may sound easy, but it's very difficult if you isolate each sense, the touch, taste, sound, sight, smell. So that the concentration is terrific on how just one sense will get you through a single situation.
Wendy, what reactions did you get from that?
I really liked it. I really liked the hands, and I felt that he brought sight into a little bit. But the feeling and the groping around, and the touching something, and just pulling it out was really nice.
And what was the situation?
I really couldn't. I don't know what the situation was.
Still don't know. Anybody know?
It was just not for him possibly to see what he was doing. You see, you do this.
And did you see the extraordinary line that came through the body? He wasn't on tiptoe. He didn't use that. But this thing, right?
Sort of forward.
Yes, it became allied to some of our creative movement in dance drama. Very, very, very nice. Well, Jim, what was it?
Well, I was imagining that I was I knew where there was a bird's nest, but I had to hold on with one hand.
Yes.
And then there was...
That was a branch.
Yes, I knew it was behind 2 or 3 branches, and so I had to worm my fingers in, and then I had to find a place where I could still work my fingers to get an egg out of it.
Unfortunately, just the last became sight.
Oh, yes.
You immediately became interested.
That's
The
what
first
I've
half,
got it.
first 3/4, very nice, very nice. Intensity, concentration, right on just that image.
Yes, but then again, to establish a little thing, it's very hard. In yours, for instance, we had very hard for us to work out what you did. Whereas with a little introduction with other senses, you could get the people to know what you are on about, isn't it? And then you have your pure sequence, and then you could end up something.
Yes, but if you are asked, Ursula, to do one thing, that thing in its fullest, without anything else blurring it, you see how fussy we are? Fuss, fuss, fuss. We love to embellish instead of being absolutely economical and clear on that one thing. See, we're all laughing. Oh dear. Oh dear.
You wasn't fleeing fear.
No, we couldn't laugh if you were really feeling fear. You'd have us terrified. So that's a complete washout. Washout.
I enjoyed doing it.
What I wanted was an experience.
Well, explain to me what you mean by fleeing fear then. Isn't it an escape from something?
Yes, but terror, fleeing terror. I think it would become so selfish. You're so terrified for yourself, you forget about her. Or you were concerned to drag her along, concern. But when we come to that moment, the human animal is for himself and himself only. And it doesn't matter to hoots the other person. That's why it became sentimental, Tony. Sentimental. That's why we laugh. The situation was war, was it war?
Yes,
But it wasn't any
sort of mafia people coming behind.
Mafia. Now we're coming to the impulse, which starts putting the nerve center at the base of the spine into action, caught up by the breath. Just feel that. Now, if you put the arm here, you can automatically get it going. And through, and back, and forward, and back, and up to the diaphragm, and from the diaphragm the breathing throws the movement, up and a small one, and up again to the diaphragm and throw on the breath, and up and a small one. Now cut out the breath and... Ursula, stop. Now look, this is a wading bird, a wader. Right, and don't you feel groove? The face is good, but the legs are still human. In fact, they're becoming classical ballet. Yes. Now, how would you make it a wading bird in a swamp?
Now they stay on one leg, don't they?
Yes, they do, but go on. Yes, they do. They stretch, right? Well, if you want to, but I want you to pay attention. I want you to pay attention to the legs now, so that we get them bird-like. I doubt if they turn on their toes. I don't think they have toes at all, really. Thinking. Right. Now get your whole. Now, if we stylize it up and it comes to a rest, Ursula, as if you were, and now can you spread it? Spread the leg?
Spread the leg?
Like I want to do in the Judith Wright, when you come and the wings come out. Right. Yes. Now there's just one more point. Relax. How would you do your hair? because it couldn't be like that.
There
Any-
sometimes some little things sticking
Yes. What do you think? It could be almost like a crest, couldn't it? Yes.
Once, as I travelled through a quiet evening, I saw a pool, jet black and mirror still. Beyond, the slender paper bark stood crowning, each on its own white image looked its fill. And nothing moved, but 30 egrets, wading, 30 egrets in a quiet evening. Once in a lifetime, lovely past believing, your lucky eyes may light on such a pool. As though for many years I had been waiting, I watched in silence till my heart was full of clear, dark water and white trees unmoving, and, white yet, those 30 egrets wading.
Fish. Fish. Now, this is where imagination, to use just the economy of terrain and movement. That, to me, was your bird in enclosures.
Yeah, what I was trying
Except you did a little bit more. But no, that wasn't a fish. Now, let's try and help her. Perhaps we'll get you to just lie on the floor, and you can move through space, through water, lying on the floor.
Yeah, I guess it's the feeling that I get from fishes, that they're just always moving.
But you can use these beautiful undulations through the body. And we'll move with you. Look, let's just try it. Huh? Let's just try it.
On the floor?
Yes, on the floor.
That's one of the points where you can't be too naturalistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
You show through other methods.
So, it's limited.
Now, what's wrong, people?
Actually, the fin,
Yes.
it's not
And
solid,
also,
big bone.
the fish doesn't have those great human arms.
Yes. And
Now, limit yourself, limit yourself. No, it's not doing it, is
Yeah,
it?
well, I just feel like I can't get around with it.
Yeah. What about
You know,
on your
this is
tummy?
how I feel
Try the
so
same
limited
thing
on
on
the
your tummy. Don't feel that you have to move all over the floor. One spot might do it.
Yeah, I just find it very hard to get the feeling of the fish when I'm on the floor, if you know what I mean. Maybe if someone else could.
But you're not using actually a ripple through the body.
But
we'll
do I
have-
just have a little feeling? Well, they have that
They
breeze.
do! It goes right through them.
So, very elastic.
Now get your feet there. Right.
Now, and
Now that's beginning to come.
Follow
Now
that
slowly,
down.
get the lovely feeling of turning.
pushing along just with your hand. Think of the shape of the fish.
Slowly, you're in, that's it, you're in that lovely medium. Well, that's getting nearer, much nearer. Now, do you see, instead of frippling round all over, can you imagine yourself frippling round all over? She's getting the feeling of being propelled through the water by that contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. Yes. Yes. You can always jog our imaginations just by this curtailment, these limitations.
Because Ursula conveyed freedom.
Yeah.
By just
Yes.
being...
Don't you think she does?
She could
Yeah,
just,
she did.
Not being restricted by anything.
and then she just held it and sort of kept moving.
It's
Yeah.
just soaring
Yeah.
through.
Yet I go on from day to day, betraying the core of light, the depth of darkness. My speech inexact, the note not right. Never quite sure what I am saying. On the periphery of truth.
Make a nice big circle and keep at the moment within the two pillars. Right, fine. Now, I want you to take a step forward. Don't bring the other foot through, and what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're going to lose balance and you're going to fall, right? And that is, if you go back, it's scientifically placed, because when you were babies, that is how you learned to walk. What did you do? You squirmed first on your stomachs, then you waddled on your bottoms, then you crawled. Finally, and this is the adult stage. The baby comes up, it's adult first in its walking. It comes up onto its feet and it starts, and in the beginning it falls. And then it reaches pure adulthood when it learns that beautiful thing of balancing between step and step. Now, the very slow walk, analyzed, the whole of the side of the foot, the knee comes out over the middle of the foot, and the pushing of the back leg takes the knee right out, and then your hip on that side. And so you go through knee, hip, side of the foot, knee, hip, side of the foot, knee, hip. And so you go. And it reminds me of the African women with those great water cans on their heads. And so you come. Now, to find the natural walk easily, just find a crack on the floor, will you? Now you find that the heels are on the inner line and the toes come out to a line on either side. So you have a 1, 2, 3 position. But, of course, there are all sorts of ways of walking. Now you just try a single line walk. Now when is that used? Just a single line. When do you think it would be used? Stealth, the hunter, that quiet thing? Yes. The two-line walk, there is a two-line walk. Now, when do we use the two-line walk? Feel it out. Fat people, because, yes, they're forced apart by the, yes, completely forced apart. So our false starts are big, and here too, everything fat. Right. What about the 4-line walk?
someone who's been too long in the classical system.
Well, you get your bow legs, or the bow if your 4 lines, rickets. So all useful as characterizations, but the 3-line walk, and that is from where we will start. Now, the eyes on your horizon, and all you're going to feel is that feeling of falling. Also, the arms are in action because they are balancing in opposition. Now get free with the arms. Right. And forward. Swing right from the shoulder, Jim. Don't feel that the elbows are crooked. Just get the arm completely relaxed. Yes, don't tummy rub, people. Don't go across the stomach. You're just cutting space so that the foot goes. Now, out of that, heads down. Now, you should really get the feeling of falling. Head way down. You're falling. Normal, back to your horizon. Heads back. Keep the bottoms right away. Arch the back. Look in and the stylized step to the side. And through, and through, and through. Now I'm going to take you into a quicker pace. Now the quicker you go, now you've got to run. You're just falling, and run you go. Christina, come and look at this. Isn't it beautiful? Now I want you to see it has that direct thrust round which a most beautiful movement is going. Oblique movement. In other words, the spiral. Now wouldn't it be wonderful if we could incorporate that, get that in our movement? We've done so much direct thrust. Now, supposing we can get something going in that oblique way through the body.
Little Josie, buried under the bright moon, is tired of being dead. Death lasts too long. She would like to push death aside and stand on the hill and beat with the waddy on the bright moon like a gong. Across the hills that belong to no people, and so to none are foreign, once she climbed high to find the native cherry, the lithe, dark-hearted lubra, who in her beads like blood, dressed delicately for love, moves her long hands among the strings of the wind, singing the songs of women, the songs of love and dying. Against the world's stone wall she thrust her heart. Endless the strength of its beating, atom of flesh that cannot move a stone. She used her love for lever, but the wall is cunningly made. Not even the strong break jail. So she is restless still under her root-warm cover, hearing the noise of living, forgetting the pain of dying. Little Josie, buried under the bright sun, would like to open her eyes and dance in the light. Who is it has covered the sun and the beautiful moon with a wallaby skin and left her alone in the night?